Good morning, traders. Welcome to our trading room. This recording will be out on YouTube for my viewers as the weekly outlook. Disclosure. What I'm going to show you is actually our thought process of where we think the trades will go now, today, by the week, right? By the end of the week. Most of those that I show you might change, or some of them might change. Some might not even go. As one person wrote the last time, hey, your analysis on the, I don't know, was S&P 500 or something didn't work. I was like, dude, you watch 50 different analysis that I did, right? Over 50 of these. And you found one that didn't work and you're worried about it? Like, really? Here was the good thing. It didn't go, but we didn't trade it. Right? We were looking for a buyer or something like that, or a sell. I can't remember. It went the opposite direction. Good for you. I'm not in the trade. He didn't talk about the ones that actually went, that we were in the trade, right? We were in the trade. That's a good thing. So here's the thing about wave analysis. It's prediction. We look at patterns and we make prediction. And we make the prediction assuming that if it should behave the way it behaved the last couple of times, if you notice that I have these and we look for, see all these arrows are showing the behavioral patterns. And every time you would see me have an arrow in advance, not after the fact, in advance, because it's prediction. And should it do what we expect it to do, we will be in the trade. Now, this arrow was here way before today and last week. And the reason this arrow was there is because we saw this. And we understand that if you do this, it will come back here. Now, I had an arrow here that we took off because we were looking for a running flat. And then actually this buy setup was here on Friday, assuming that if it should take off, you won the trade. It dropped beyond the low, perfect, come back, make a flag. That's the best setup you can go. Is it going to go? I don't care. The thing about wave analysis, we're not controlling the outcome. And all traders make mistakes, right? 90% of traders who lose, the mistake, the one most important mistake they're making is because they think there is a specific outcome they should get. And if they don't get it, they stick to the trade and they stick to the trade and they're holding on. Oh, it should go. It should go. Everything. This is my support and resistance. It bounced off it. It should go. Oh, this was my trend line. It bounced off it. It should go. Well, good luck to that. Or this is the moving average. It always bounced off the 100 moving average or whatever BS you're telling yourself. It doesn't have to be that, and it doesn't have to go anywhere you want it to go. The market is behaving the way the market behaves. So when you make a prediction, you should also say, well, should it not go? What are your criteria? Where you're going to exit the trade, and how do you manage the trade? So we have a stop loss where we think if this pattern didn't work out the way 80% of them work out, so this is one of the 20%, I'm out of it here. But guess what is more important? We hardly get hit on the stop loss. Any of my traders will tell you this, that we hardly ever watch a trade go to the stop loss. Why? It's called trade management. That's the most important thing you're going to learn as a trader. Trade management. You know why it's more important? If you took a trade and it goes, you don't have a problem. You just have to book profit. Your problem and the reason you're losing, 90% of you are losing and will continue to lose, is because when you take a trade and it doesn't go, you're lost. You have no idea what the hell is happening. You don't know whether you should stay with the trade. You don't know whether you should close it. You're thinking, okay, if I stay with it, it will still go. Oh, if I close it, then it's going to take off. I'll take the small loss and then it's going to take off. And you're in the guessing way because there's no other method in the world that will allow you to make a decision that this is a turning point or this will continue to go, except wave analysis, because we look for precise patterns. So here is a concrete trade we took this, one of my trades took this morning. And this is a perfect trade. If I was here, I would take the same trade. You enter here. It will tag you and pull back. 90% of the time, it will tag you and pull back. Any trade you take anywhere, no matter what. There's about, I think the rest 10% of the time I would say is when news happens, when there's a volatility that is so fast that it doesn't have to pull back. But 90% of the time, when you click a trade, tag and pull back, that's no reason to panic. Because what we will wait for here is specific patterns to decide, you know what? We have to exit this trade now. Take a small loss and exit. Or don't worry about it. It could still go back. Right? So right now, we're not worried about it. Because this happens every time almost. Now, you would say, well, why not wait for it to pull back and then take the trade? That's a whole different story. I have a whole webinar on that if you want. Why you shouldn't do that, because you're setting yourself up for failure. The way we take the trade here now gives you a chance to exit for break even or a very small loss. If you wait for the pullback and then you take the trade here, you do not have a chance at break even or a small loss. That might sound weird, especially if you don't understand wave analysis. You just set yourself up for failure almost every time. And not only that, you will miss the opportunities for big trades when they actually go. Remember when I said the ones that go, you don't have to worry about them? They're about 10%, maybe 12, maybe 20. You're going to totally miss that if you're waiting for the pullback. And those are the best trades. Those are actually the best trades. Let's say you put an entry here and this thing do like this. This is the trade you're looking for, always. So if it happens like that, and it does happen like that, even if it even happens like that 5% of the time, these are the trades that build your account. And if you're waiting for a pullback to that trade, well, good luck to you. You're going to miss all of them. So you're missing all the best trades you can ever get. And you're trying to grab at the possibility that they'll pull back and go, which might be 80% of the time, but they're not the best trades. They'll probably still pull back and go 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 even. These are going to be 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1. So what do you want? You want to wait for the pullback? Most times the pullback is when I'm thinking, oh, this trade is not going. I should start looking for exit, right? Because if it's going, it's going to go. So right now, we will wait to see what this does. And maybe in an hour or two, we'll be out of that trade or we'll stay with it. That's trade management. That said, let's go. Dollar index. So dollar index, if you remember last week, we were looking for the possibility that this could be the running flat. As of now, it's still the running flat. I wouldn't change it as yet. If you were following me for, I don't know, a while back, you would know that we thought this could possibly also be the running flat. We were right about that because this went up. But because this is so big and we got a second one that size, we're thinking, well, no, maybe not. The bigger structure, if you remember what I said when we were in here, when we had 1, 2, 3, 4, that we don't have a pattern? Well, we probably have a pattern now because we did break this down. So you can make an argument for 1, 2, 3. But that might not be complete because this one, remember I said last week, this one is relatively sharp. So what if we were to repeat that here? Let me take this out and show you something about wave analysis that you would be interested. What if it repeats? The mere fact that it break the top doesn't mean anything as yet, right? We still have to continue to go to this top. But what if it repeats that? What if this actually makes a big flag here? Right, like this. See that big one there? Does that and then drop to the bottom here. Would we look at this as a possible running flat or expanding flat, depends on it, and then go back there? Well, now we'll have a very nice pattern. I will actually like this more than this because that gives me confirmation that we're going to go back here and we're coming back here. That completes a lot of patterns. Immediately, it completes the whole pattern. See? Once this happens, once I get that confirmation that this is a flat, everything is crystal clear. At least if that pattern stays there. But what if it does this? It will still do the pattern that I draw, but this piece might stay here longer. And that is not a problem. We know that. We have seen that consolidation stay there for 6 years in patterns that we're looking at. So I'm not worried about that. Now, here's the question. Can we break that up or will we even break that up? Let's go back to it inside today and see what happens. As of now, I'm still keeping it because this piece needs to tell me what's happening, right? I'm looking for a sell setup here in this today. And I might not get the sell setup because this one might work its way back to the top here. And if it gets to the top there, I would wait for it to come here and then we'll be looking for a buy setup. The buy setup will break this down. So this would be a trade we can get today, or this would be a trade we can get today. One out of those two. Now, if I have to make forecasts for you, I don't know how to do it because I will tell you right now, we're looking for a sell setup. This was a buy we had on Friday. We got a lot of nice trades on Friday, and this would be the sell today. But like I just said, that might not happen. And then some amateur trader who has very little knowledge of what the chart is doing, when this goes there and come and do this, goes, oh, you got that one wrong again. No, we didn't get it wrong. We will be buying this. See the difference is that you have to wait for what the pattern is doing to tell you what the trade is going to be. And then when I'm making the forecast at this moment, we don't have a complete pattern to give you a concrete direction. But here's the thing. I have a very clear understanding and knowledge of what it could do and what I will do. So maybe by the end of the day, I'll have a very clear understanding of what I'm doing. Right now, I'm looking for a sell. So take and do what you want with that. If you don't understand or if you don't know how I do that, you should join us. You'll probably see how it works. Send me a message on Skype It's just under in the description, at the top of the description. And you can join us live. It's not free, just in case a lot of you keep writing, hey, I want those free. The free access comes once a while. And I might repeat one again, a 1 week free, maybe at sometime in this month. If you can't afford to pay, wait, join that 1 week free, and then you might change your mind. All right, so let's go. Dollar index, we're looking for from a buy last week to a sell today. And we can put it as an active sell. It's not active as yet, but you can put it just in case it drops. All right. Silver, we were looking for a buy. I'll take it off. That's gone. We were looking for a buy. I didn't think we buy it because the first move dropped, right? We were looking for a buy on this one, but then it dropped. We actually took the sell on the euro, the pound, the Aussie, the New Zealand, and then it dropped. So let's see where we are here now. Well, right now, there's no trade setup. We're still expecting this move down, but we don't have a trade setup. So for me to get a trade setup, this thing would have to stop and make a flag or a flat. I don't know which one it's going to be. It's just one move. So if we get a flag here, we start selling. If it becomes a flat, well, it's another buy like this, right? If it becomes that, you buy. If it drops and make a flag, we sell. So maybe in 3 hours time, I can tell you which one it will be. I think the sell is more likely. If my traders are aggressive enough, you may want to look, you may want to wait for this 15 minutes flag to actually form. Yeah, it's actually there. Maybe one more up. Maybe one more up. Break this top. And you got a 15-minute flag to sell. So as of now, this is a very aggressive 15-minute sell. That is for my more senior traders who understand how to get out of trades like that if they don't go. But that could be a sell, so I'll put this an aggressive sell. Wait for it. Wait for an aggressive sell. It's not there as yet. Gold also upside. That was a buy. Take it off. Yeah, this was the buy, and then we were waiting for this buy. It dropped. I didn't think anybody take it, unless after the news you find a pattern here, a flag there to go up, right? Because the news was down and we were buying it during the news, so that didn't happen. There are 3 sharp moves here we were waiting for. Two sharp moves. This one and this one, right? This one actually fulfilled itself. This was one that fulfilled itself. We got it here. So like I said, they always come, right? So this one came. This one I'm not sure about because there's a lot of correction in it, but this one absolutely is going to come, right? So keep your eye out for that today. Do we have a sell setup? Wait for a 15-minute solid. I saw the 5, it's not so good. Wait for a 15-minute and then take it. So if we get a 15-minute flag, we'll look for a sell setup. That's an aggressive trade. If it stays here as a flat, if it actually stays here, well, we'll buy. This will take about 6 hours. The flag will take you 2 hours. So in 2 hours, you could either get a sell setup or in the next 6 hours, you get a buy setup. I don't know which one. We'll see. We don't have any trade setup in it. I'm just putting it with what we're looking for. So euro actually broke out, and you could have been tagged in here if you were here this morning. If you saw that and you took the trade, you could be tagged. It didn't break the top, so it's still, your stop should be here. It's still possible that you're going to get out. I would probably put it like this because I don't think there's a contracting flat there, right? I don't think this is a contracting flat. So I'll put it like that, assuming that we're making a bigger consolidation. Now, if you're in the trade, you would look for an exit. Get an exit as soon as it pulls back or it comes back to the top, because this could end up at the bottom here, right? The correction could end up pretty deep. Remember, this is a really sharp move. So this is just about 50% of the first impulse, which means I wouldn't be surprised if this works its way down here, go back there, and we're still in a sell setup. We're not selling this, but we could get a sell setup. So right now, we don't have any trade. It's a buy setup. If you're not in the trade, you could put it here. I don't think they'll break the top again. So it's a buy setup, but I don't think we'll get the buy. We'll keep an eye and see how that goes, right? So I'll take this out. There's no trade setup on it as yet. We're looking more for a buy setup. If that changes, we're going to take a long time to change from a buy. The same thing with the pound. This was the sell on Friday. Take that out. We're looking for a buy. It's coming back down. So I think, and this one is way at the top. So I think we're going to get a correction unless they work their way all the way to the bottom. We don't have a sell setup at the bottom there. Right? So, and this looks really nice running flat. I really like it. So I think this might be a deep correction. You might end up with this coming back all the way to the bottom here. Go back up, give us a flat. We have seen flats like this. Here is one, and there are many of them. And then this becomes a sell. But for now, we will put it as a buy until it gets lower. You know our criteria, right? So if it gets much lower, then we change it. Aussie, definitely a sell. I mean, and this is why I was explaining this earlier before all of you guys came in the room, that this is convincing me that this is going to drop. because it barely broke the top. You got a deep pullback and it's probably looking downside. So this would still remain a sell setup until we see something else. As of now, I'll go with a sell, and I believe this thing could drop because this flat worked out the way we expect it to work, right? From here, go to the top, make that flat, come back here. This work, sir. It's not going sideways as yet. If it's going sideways, then this would end up, if we think we're going to get it, we're looking for the downside, and we got that on Friday, right? If we get a sideways one, this will have to go back all the way to the top here and stay here for a while, right? So I don't think that's going to happen. I think mostly downside. So let's see. That's an active sell, which means you have an entry order there, right? New Zealand, I'm not sure. This could go. This like the Euro Pound and the thing, we didn't break the top, so this could go. New Zealand is I think Aussie is the only one that actually broke the top and come back. And Aussie is the only one that came so deep. All the rest are actually buy setups. So we focus on the Aussie for the sell, and we keep an eye on these for buy setups, see what happens. That was a sell, by the way. It might become some kind of a, flat like this, and that would be good. That way this afternoon or tomorrow we get that trade. Let's see. We'll wait and see. It's a buy setup. Wait for a buy setup. CAD. Perfect, right? Get back to the top, reverse. If you were in the trade, I hope you took profit here on the 1 minute or 5 minutes. You should have taken profit. We're getting a sell setup, and I do believe this is going to go, right? Because this one we were expecting it to go. So I'll take that out. And now we will definitely take this sell setup. As long as it stays in this range, we're looking for a sell. Don't put an entry here yet. Put the entry under the low, because that consolidation, I'm not sure. It's not a clear piece what this piece is doing as yet. If it goes up all the way to the top there, we might be seeing an upside like this, but we wouldn't buy it. See what happens here when they went back to the top? It still dropped. So it wouldn't confirm upside as yet. It will just confirm a big flat here. We'll wait for it to break out, wait for another flag, and then buy. This is as deep as the first one, right? That first drop, I think this first drop is as deep as that. Do we repeat this? We'll see. It's possible, right? Because remember, this is a flat. We're looking at this as a 1, 2, 3 there, which means we should come back here, right? There's a series of flats in here that are forming, and I do think they'll break to the top before we come back. We've seen this before. It looks like a channel or a series of flats, but you're not sure which one it is. It's more a series of corrections that we eventually go there. We will sell it back to the low, and then if it turns, we buy it back to the top. At some point, it either break up or it break down. Well, don't worry. Once we sell from the top, we're okay. And once we buy from the bottom, we'll be okay too. So we just wait, take this off. We're looking for a sell setup, sorry. A setup, we don't have a trade as yet. You can put the entry under the low if you want, but that is kind of, let me take this out. That was the top that we were breaking. So now we're coming back to the low. We don't need this. Take that off. You can put it as an active sell, but I would suppose they will wait some more. I don't think it's ready. Swiss. Okay, this might be the only one that is going up. This would have been a break-even trade had we taken it. I didn't think we took it, but if we did, that would have been a break-even trade. It's kind of, this looks like a consolidation for upside. A pretty clear consolidation for upside. I'm just not sure that it will break out now. And I'm not sure that it will break out now. So what we'll do is we'll just wait. If that goes, we'll put this as the running flat. We'll put this one as the running flat. Because we didn't have anything for this and we were waiting for it. This was the piece that made us took it off. We had it as a running flat, and when it starts to kind of go sideways here, we took that off because this was looking like it's going to drop, but then it actually did this and take off. So that's the running flat, and we'll go with this as a bigger correction. It's still upside. It might stay here a longer time, but it's still upside. I think it will stay a longer time. I would most likely look at this as a 1, 2, 3. So this up move would be the equivalent of this one, and there's a good chance we drop again. Right? I don't think it's going to break out right now. If you get a buy setup in it, let's say in the 15. Yeah, there's a buy setup. If you're taking it, you got to be, I wouldn't even take it, because not a fact that we'll break that up. We don't have to break that up. Actually, we could look for a sell setup if this goes a little higher and then start to drop. So let's wait. Leave this out. Yen, you got a running flat for upside. We got the flat we were looking for. I think we can make an assumption that it's over. right? Because we came pretty low. We can go with this as the all of these is correction. This one eventually becomes the AB squeeze. It did break the top. So it didn't, I think it came very close to the top. Just tag it. So you can look at this as 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So this should go up. There's a running flat forming here. If we get a running flat, you get a buy. Don't buy it. Wait for it to pull back and then go for the buy. So if we get that running flat, we get a buy setup. Take this off. That was a buy, but it called it break even. So if it pulls back here, we get a buy setup. Wait for, oops, sorry, wrong one. It pulls back here, and then wait for this. Euro Swiss, wait for a flag to buy. If it makes a flag here, buy. Wait for a 15 minutes or 1 hour flag. So this running flat was correct, and this flat is correct. That's more upside, at least one more up. We're coming to this top. This is the full forecast. Right? This one, come down, go back up to the top, then drop. So if you're watching this for the first time and you've never seen any of my video before, these arrows are showing what we think it's going to do way before it did it, right? So this arrow is not going to come off until we can disprove that that is going to happen. So now it's on the way to happen. So this should go some more there. There's a nice trade we can get to the top there, and then from there we're going down. Wait for a flag, wait for a setup, take the trade. We don't have anything right now. There's some small flags, but those are gone. Wait for a 1 hour correction. And look for a buy setup. So guys, what I'm going to do is we do all of these in our trading room every morning, 3-4 times a day. Not only in the morning, we do them we do it now. This is the Asian session. We do it in the London Open and New York Open, and sometimes in between, especially if there are news. So today there isn't a lot of news, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll be in the trading room almost every couple hours because there's a lot of news there, right? So if you want to have all of these, and if you would like to see what we think about all of it, you need to join us for that, right? I'm going to go through, do some of this, and I'm going to do just the 3 or 4 cryptos. And if you would like to have all the rest, you have the, if you like what I do, you have the choice of joining us. Let's go. Natural gas. You have the choice of joining us, getting live access to the room where you get to ask questions. It's only in this session you're not hearing questions because this is recorded for YouTube. Normally, we will be asking questions. We'll be talking about trades. My traders will tell me what setup to look at. So that's what we do in the trading room. And you also get follow-up to your trades. So there's no trade setup that I'm going to give you, and then I'm not going to tell you what happened to it. Right? So you get to ask what happened to that trade. So every single trade is followed up by. So you know what happened to the trade. You know how we exit the trade. You know whether we stay with the trade. You know whether it's a win or a loss. A lot of trading rooms don't have that. They do it once a day, and the next day they come and they start back from zero again, and you have no idea what happened. How do I know? When I started trading, I was in one like that. When I just started my career, I was in one like that, where you will get the forecast or the trade setup. So they're not based on this, they're based on support and resistance, and you go away. The next day you come, you're getting another series of them. And none of the last ones were actually discussed. Most of them which didn't go anywhere or probably were losses. They weren't discussed. And I was like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Right? If you're going to do something, do it different. So right now, this is a big consolidation. We took that sell. I still expect it to go. But now with that sharp move and this one, there's a good chance you might get a flat here. If you're going to sell this, wait for a flag. Take this out now. We were selling a flag here. This small flag after we closed that trade. But now that it go there, you have to wait for either a bigger flat or make sure you sell this flag with accuracy, which means with a lot of caution, because this could still come here and go back up, make a running flat, and then drop. I would be very, very cautious with that sell. We're still looking for downside, right? And this might be an expanding flat. So the sell is very likely. I would wait for a sell setup now. Oil tag drop. If you're taking the oil, you know the risk, right? Because the bigger picture is downside, right? So if you're taking that trade, you know that at any time it could turn. We're looking for a sell. I hope you managed to close it. I think there was a lot of time to close it. Yeah, it's not a problem. Either close it there or for a very small loss. What we want to see here is a flat. I want to see this form make a flat here. And then that would be a perfect sell setup. So we will be looking for a sell setup. We'll look for a sell setup. US 30 didn't drop. Again, here's a good idea. We saw this and that looks like it's going to drop, but it didn't drop. Okay, I'm not in the trade. So I don't have to worry about it very much. Let's see what it's doing right now. Well, this move is a pretty big move. And we can still put that with this. There's still a possibility that this one could fit for a running flat. Actually, it could be perfect for a running flat now. So I wouldn't be surprised if this goes up. Now, what I'll wait for is if we get a flat there, and then I'll buy. All right, if you get this, see this flat here? If you get a flat, I'm buying. So let's go see if we have a flat for the buy. Since it didn't break to the downside, it's likely trying to go up more. Take that off. Do we have anything here for a buy? Not as yet, but it looks like we will get it because there's a lot of consolidation here. I want this to go back up, come back down, and then I'm ready for that trade. If we get that flat at the top there, we're buying. So for now, I'll look for a buy setup because we came back pretty close to the top. Look for a buy setup. The only way this changes into a sell setup, and that would be a long time from now, is if this works its way down here and go back up there. So then we would look for a sell setup from here. Selling in this is not a good idea because at any point in time, it can stop and go back up. Looking for a buy setup. But if it does come to the bottom, we'll just wait for this or we'll buy that and then sell this. So right now, it's a buy setup. I think the same here. This was a good sell idea. This sell should have been from here if you were following the rule. But if you took it from here, no problem. And we're still looking for a sell. Let me see what the big picture says. Is there any buy setup we can get here? We don't have anything with this, but the pullback is pretty sharp, right? There is no pattern to form there. The pullback is pretty sharp. The only thing you can go with is this by itself is a correction. A 1, 2, 3, right? This by itself could be all the correction you need. So if that is all the correction, go back to the 15. We need a buy setup here. Right, that could be all you get, 1, 2, 3, because this one was way back at the top. Wait for a buy setup. Those buys will change the sell only if it gets to the bottom and then go back up. This one we were always expecting a buy, right, because of this pattern. So you can actually get a buy setup from here, let it go to the top, hope it break out. If it doesn't break out, get out for break even. So this one didn't break, and this was actually D-low. So we'll take this off. Wait for the buy setup now. We don't have a sell setup in this yet. And we don't have a full buy setup because this has to go back up there, come back here, and then go. Complete this flat. So I wouldn't put the buy here as yet. Wait for the setup. You don't want it to tag you and then pull back. Just wait for the setup. Okay, this is upside. Actually, it didn't break out, right? It came to the bottom of this pattern. And it looks like we're trying to go back up. I don't think we'll break out now. If that happens, we'll just move this like this. It will be one more up. And again, we look for the downside. All right, so let's see if we have a buy setup. As of now, it's a buy setup. This is a nice correction here for buy. That's a good buy setup, actually. You can put an entry order here now because it might just take off. All right, so it's a buy setup to go with. And what will change that into a sell? The only time this becomes a sell setup is if this works its way down to the bottom here and go back up there. We'll take this off, and then we'll be selling this. So let's see. I don't know what it's going to do. We'll see when the time comes. That's a Bitcoin. So Bitcoin did break out of this. We're expecting it to break out of this, go to the top, just break this top. We're right back at the top there. I don't think this is going to break out, and I wouldn't be surprised if they actually come back to the bottom because there's a flag. They take this up. There's a flag here forming. Right? There's a flag here forming. If that should break, we might be coming back to the low. See this flag here? Pretty similar flag there. So you're getting a similar one here, and putting an entry order for a sell might not be a bad idea. Right? If you can sell this. Now, should it go back higher? Should this work its way back to the top there? And then come, take this off, go for the possible buy. It means this would be all your correction. As of now, I wouldn't be surprised if this drop because this is huge correction. Right? This has a lot of pieces in it. And there's a good chance it can still come down. If that comes down one more, you only need it to break this low. And if it comes one more here, we need it to break this low. And then definitely one more up. And then one more down. So we could be stuck here for a big flat and then upside. If you actually get this big flat is upside. If this comes lower, then it will go back up. It will make a running flat, but then it's going to be downside. So until this pattern plays out, we wouldn't know whether it's one more up or it's one more down. And since we're at the top of it, both of those are possible. Now, since I'm at the very top, until I get this complete pattern proving that it's more of an upside, I'm not really in any bias yet. Sell sides are always better. But if it stays here long enough, then yeah, it will make a new high. ETH, more downside actually. Even though with this drop here, come on, don't. It did break. I'm not sure we broke the low. But let's assume they break the low. If they broke the low, they're just coming back to this top, right? We're just going back there and then go. If it's going to drop more, it didn't break the low. Let's say this low is not broken. It will come here, maybe even do this, drop some more. Still go back up there, make this flat. And this flat is actually downside. And it could be a lot more downside. So this could be the top of the structure. We already made that forecast that could be the top. And we're heading for the bottom. Let me go trade daily. So if you're watching this for the first time, that could be top and we're heading for the bottom. So this is the move down that you're likely going to be seeing, something similar to that. So if it consolidates there, I wouldn't be surprised for the downside. You're looking more for down. So if you're actually holding this, I'm not telling anyone what to do with your trade, but if you're holding this, if I was holding an Ethereum, here's what I would do. I'd allow this to go up there and I'll close the trade. So your thought process will be, what if it actually comes and breaks this top? Why would I close it? Well, it's simple. It has to break this top. So at some point, if they break that up and pull back, I get to buy back here, especially if I see a buy setup here, I get to buy back it to go there. But I'm buying back with a setup that says at least there's an impulse to the upside. So if I don't like it again, I can close it, right? But staying in a trade like this and watch it drop here, you're not closing it here or here or here or even here. You're going to be stuck with it. And you might have to wait a long time for this to happen. So you might still get it to come back here, and then you're going to come and say, you see, I just hold it for a year and look, I'm back in profit. And my thought process is, well, what if you had closed it here, and then you take the same money and you bought back here? You see the difference, right? This is all profit you're giving up. And this is all, let's say you were in here, right? This is all profit you're giving up. And at this point, you'll be a lot upside down crying. I'd wonder what the hell is happening. So even if you're long-term in these cryptos, you don't have to be stuck with it for 5 years to get profit. In 5 years, you can triple your account, right? You could have actually used the time period to exit and enter, and make much more profit and still catch the up move. That's the amazing thing of wave analysis, is that you do not have to stay with the trade. The fear that you're going to miss something is more of a fear. Right? There's a fear that you're going to miss. You're not really missing anything. That's more of a fear that you're going to miss something. So let's see. XRP. I think we already forecasted the downside, and this is definitely looking downside, especially since all the consolidation is here. There's a good chance we'll drop here. Or even just come to this point before they go back up. So it's not a buy setup. There's no buy setup there. Let's take a look at this one. And this is also coming down. But this could go back up. Keep an eye on this. There's these sharp moves here, and even this one that could be a pattern. So unless you get a really good flat to sell, and if they actually make a flat here, I'm on a daily, 1 hour. If you really get a good sell setup, you should stay with it. It looks like a sell setup forming here. So I wouldn't go with any bias yet. Just keep selling. So guys, again, if you want more of that, including all of these that we do here, you know what to do. So let's go. I would leave you with that. Have a great week ahead of you. Trade carefully and make money. Wish you all the best. Take care. Bye.